Hey, muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Y como siempre, muchísimas gracias to everyone for your guys' words, prayers, and your amazing support. From the corazón, se los agradezco. Now, to get into the story in hand. Today I'm going to sideline for my story a little bit, and it has to do with the story I put out yesterday. When I refer to cheeks and certain things, but I basically was real dry about it, right? So I thought I would come in and just put some history to it or some back to it, right? To not leave you guys in the air on the things, right? That would eventually lead to the distrust that he had in Mexico, right? Or at least with people that knew him. He wasn't Abuelo Sherm or Los Diaz or Tawa, or he literally had a little history in Mexico, or at least with that type of wiggling when it came in Mexico, right? So he was known. But anyways, I just thought I'll put that out just to make sense of what I'm speaking of, That I don't know, I already sound enough not understanding to just leave things in the open and so, right? But anyways, for this I want to take you back. I don't know exactly how far back, if it was in the 2000 or anyways, that's not even the point, right? But Cheeks from OTAY, right? He was on that side of the border in Tijuas or in Baja, in that area. And when he went out there, it was cause Bat was making all these promises, right? That he had these avenues, or they could tap to this dulce out there, and it was it was open to all the carnales, right? But it might have been so at one point, right? But as I mentioned to everybody, once the hermanos Ardillas or Arellanos, they uh they got locked up and stuff, and everybody seemed basically bad for what it was, right? Which he was a mean old tweaker. He couldn't be trusted. So he started working for a less member, and of course he didn't have that reach no more that he had at one point when the brothers were there, or even the when David was there, right? And so Cheeks went out there with all these promises, and when he arrived, it just wasn't there, right? To say the least. But nevertheless, he started trying to set up pipelines, and within time he did, but it wasn't with that faction, right? It was with a different faction. Not gonna say it was someone directly with with the Sinaloa faction, but it was somebody that had taps to it, right? And everything at first was cool. All he was required is to have the money up front, and of course, as you guys know, prices changes everywhere. For example, Tijuas is one thing, across an SD is one, Los is another, IE, Eke, out of state is even more, right? So to minimize that, he started working with other canales, right? And I would hate to bring Tawa into this, but Tawa was one of them, and that excuse me, I don't mean to like that, but that guy, Chino from OTAY, he And I'm talking about older Chino, right? Let's make it clear, cause there's two of them, and anyways, they started picking up homegirls, right? So it was less of a pay if they started going across the border and going out there as how it's worked, right? Which I'm gonna I won't buy a car, right? Because they're cheaper, but I need to get it across and see if it passes the smoke test, and then eventually it will not pass the smoke test, right? So you drive it back. Because even though they had the Ubers, the Ramflas came from the Dulce, right? Because they supplied that and they needed them back. Anyways, they started pulling homegirls, right? Homegirls, I'm not gonna say it was just from OTAY because it wasn't. It was from North San Diego, East San Diego, from you name it, right? But it was homegirls nevertheless. And when it comes to Sureño neighborhoods, right? Unless you're on the streets wiggling with a homegirl, in reality, they hold no type of loyalty from us back. And let's just be sincere. That is why they could never hold anything in a neighborhood. Besides them being out there partying and representing it, other than that, you know, it's basically that saying, all rattle. So it's best to keep them at bay. And I don't say this to disrespect. It's just the way things are said in the hoods, and just keeping it a buck. And I say this when I love my homegirls, right? They were the only ones that stood with me throughout the 20 plus years I was busted, the times I was busted in Mexico, act, until this day. So it's never not to minimize, homegirls at all. It's moreover on how they look, right? Especially when it comes from individuals that they think they're God on earth, right? Anyways, at first, everything was going to the dot. Homegirls with no type of charges, whatever, however, they were going over and boom, 2, 3 times a week, and everybody was happy, right? Within days, they took the car back and it didn't pass the test, so they left it and returned home, right? The pay was there too. But, for those who know the backtrack of Cheeks, Afu became another bat. He got strung out. Gacho. I mean, gacho. But see, Bat was a tweaker. This was a tecato. Too hard. So, difference of loquera, right? But when it comes to negra, man, every penny, every means, there's always a way to save it for it, right? So of course he's seeing the amount of highness and I'm gonna say homegirls, right? That were supporting, maybe some for need, maybe some just to play the funk or trying to be in good, right? Trying to get in touch with the big homie and eventually become one of the one of their senoras or support system. But nevertheless, I'm not gonna take away from Chino from OTAY, even though he's one of the individuals I really dislike, as you guys will hear once I get to the feds. But he spoke up and style cause Cheeks had his crew. If it was easier for you know homegirls to start taking a trip and they could stock up. Let's say there's 8, 9 Ubers that could be eliminated. That's still 30k he's putting back in his pocket. You see, the problem uprose when the cars were making it, the jale, but they were never being returned. Again, this belonged to the people supplying the candy, because these people like to do things the way they should be done, right? Clean car, everything new to throw off, and so that became a big problem, to the point that basically they start questioning everything. So Chino and Tawa, they spoke up. They spoke up because they wanted to know what was going on. And eventually, as I stated before, just because someone says I'm active, don't mean they have sugar in the tank, right? Because one of them, don't know if it was a family member or whatever, that fell victim, right? But you know, uh, he spoke up and stating what he was doing. At this time, he had won the trust from these guys to be getting fronted, but it was becoming a problem where they were losing, right? Because them ramflas that get utilized as Ubers, once they comes back one, you put them to work in Mexico. If you guys get what I'm trying to say, so it's not a loss. That's a constant need here. So nevertheless, I know everybody's gonna be saying, but if you foreseen this, why eventually, it ricocheted with you and family, right? Because the person that really pressed on this, that pushed on this to become a problem, to the point to have Cheeks take the high road back, right? If you want to say that, was old man from Ontario. He was really frowned upon this. He was disrespected by this. Now it could have been a front, to politic against another member. Now I look at it like that, right? But he closed all them doors. So again, when I got up there to Pelican Bay, it was something really stated when it came to working with this individual. They wanted a co-signer, as he did with, you know, Carlos. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But if you know why Chino from OTAY and the brothers had Cheeks on that shelf for a while, because he was under investigation for this. Again, there's no loyalty amongst the Gatos. When I say this, I say it to myself. Please do understand that I'm not minimizing nobody in the game. At the end of the day, we're all grown folks, right? But I don't want to sound like a broken record, but please, anybody that can get up here and tell me I'm wrong, first tell me, would you go to Skid Road and trust somebody from there? Or have one of them run your life, your program, tell you how to do things and what not to do, and what you better do, or else? Or have you dictate the actions of your family? It's exactly that, man. You looked at all this so-called carnales, right? And again, there is those, man, that my utmost respects, right, in their stilo, but they're minimum. Most of them, man, you see them at one point or another, robbing stores, killing people just to get high again. to go and assist them and tell you're good or you're not good because you're not chasing their feria, their dope, or you're not forcing your family member to bring in their dope. I mean, come on, the causa sureña, norteña, whatever, border brothers, all that, man, it's beautiful. But I was talking to a good camarada today, which I respect. I want everything to fall on me, right? Because I would love to see that day, right? But anyways, I was talking to him, and you know, let's not go too far. How many camaradas to please these individuals when one of them is in a county jail and they reach out because that's the implementation, right? Hey, have someone get a petty crime and bring me some dope. In the means of that, the dope the big homie gives him or where he sends that camarada to pick up ain't wrapped up right and it pops and there goes a camarada. Ain't nobody gonna look at him like he's a down camarada, right? He's a campolero. What are they gonna say? Let's keep it sincere. What would you say when that happens? What a, I'll leave that open, Please do comment on what you would truly say if something like that happened to him. And for what? Again, the program became bring me dope, find me an avenue for dope, go stab that cat even though if he's a good camarada, cause I'm my dope. But again, I'm just on here speaking about my walk, like we just finished a live and I brought the homie on and my love and my respects. But like you guys know I just don't partake in all that, all that he said, she said, or look, that individual, he got his tongue taken out. Oh damn, let me clip that up and spin it around. It's a lot of people say what a comadre definition is. That falls short. Comadre falls short to that type of individuals, right? That falls under chismosos, habladores, que no tienen valor en su persona. And that's just being a buck, right? But anyways, mi gente, sorry if I didn't make a lot of sense. Tomorrow I got a long day and things and there's a lot on my head. I constantly speak about these head surgeries, but it ain't easy. I have faith, blind faith. I'm gonna take care of business, right? Cause of that faith. But in reality, it's a hard thing. But regardless, I never been that sidetracker, right? So it's for a plus. So, but anyways, I don't want to get out of topic. For those still out there, again within time, this is for you, or for all those that been there, done that, and felt like they've been the only ones. Do please know that you're not. There's thousands and thousands. Some as myself, you could say more dumb, right? So I say to them, just be wise, take in what you should take in. Sentido común is out there, not just through me. There's a gang of people. So please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. Muy buenas noches, bendiciones.